It's the Marcus Alford stream, sponsored by Kaleidoscope Eyes. Now available, new flip-up mirrored contact lenses. Kaleidoscope Eyes, your trendy lens headquarters.
Round 1, fight. Round 2, fight. Finish her. Fatality. Noob Saibot wins. Round 1, fight.
Go back to hell. I've had enough.
Round 2, fight.
Fish Burrito Kitty, what's good?
Want fries with that?
Final round, fight.
Shut up and color. I'm smoking.
Spawn wins.
It's the Marcus Alford stream, sponsored by the Ski Council of Nebraska. Tired of long lift lines? It's time to ski Nebraska. What's up? Everybody, let's get now. What? Football is back, baby. What's up, guys? It is your boy Marcus Alford, aka Hill Marcus, aka Half Trash, Half Amazing, aka Mr. No 1v1, aka Body Make Watterson, aka worst streamer in the world. And we're here with another episode, super long episode of the Marcus Alford stream. Big football night, opening night, baby. Opening night, that means we are going to be talking football all day long. Got KyleLiterally coming in sometime tonight. We got Fall Guys on deck as well. We're gonna talk about AEW Dynamite. Heard Dynamite hit 1.3, baby. Here it go. Ratings are up, but problems are up. We're gonna talk about that as well. KyleLiterally should be in within like the next 15 or so minutes. So we're gonna get right to the action and see what's popping. All right, so we're gonna talk about Dynamite. We're gonna kick off the show with it. So, Dynamite kicks off, and of course they got a lot of people coming in. CM Punk to talk. They got Daniel Bryanson talking. Got Adam Cole going to give a talk. Adam Cole gave a really intimidating conversation towards Tony Schiavone, which I thought was dope. Scary, but dope. Malachi Black took on Dustin Rhodes. Okay. We'll talk about a lot of different points that happened. Dan Lambert gave another speech, and I'm not gonna lie, the speeches are getting less and less relevant. Scorpio Sky and what's his name? Ethan Page were there with him, apparently getting paid to watch other people wrestle. I guess that makes sense for someone. That does not make sense for me. I don't understand why you don't have Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky at least wrestling and bullying people. At least with Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, you're gonna get a couple pointless matches. Like Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky aren't even wrestling. They're basically just ranting, or they're letting someone else rant for them while they watch people wrestle. I don't understand the logic. I mean, it's gonna take a minute, I guess, to wait for it to unfold, but it's still at a point where it's still questionable in general. So, let's see. The Dark Order is breaking apart at the seams. Oh my god, I do not want to see the Dark Order break up. They're too good, and I don't think they had enough shine. I miss them being just a nice evil cult team. Like, bro, oh my god, there's always one on our team. Let's see. CM Punk comes out. He talks about how he wants to take on all challengers. He's offering anybody that he asks the fans anybody what they want. Taz comes out. Taz is working commentary because Excalibur was on vacation due to getting married. Congrats to him. I'm also thankful he wasn't on. I'm not a big fan of him on commentary. But CM Punk's out there. Taz is out there filling in for Excalibur. And CM Punk says, "Who wants me to challenge who?" And Taz comes out and says, "I'm tired of you talking about Team Taz." And CM Punk's like, "I've never even mentioned you. Don't interrupt me ever again." It was the most awkward, weird argument I've ever felt. Like, it felt like two parents that didn't know what was the problem, but they were still gonna fight anyway because their marriage is just that toxic. It felt like that, and it just wasn't. It was. But Powerhouse Hobbs destroyed Dante Martin. Dante Martin had a couple of good spots. Hobbs ended up looking tough, so I'm assuming they're going to build for him to take on CM Punk. You know, build up these muscle guys to, eventually take the L. We're going to get back to that in a second. Let's see what else. Yeah, FTR and Sean Spears beat the Dark Order. To be honest with you, no one cares about Sean Spears at all. I love that people still don't care about him because it's just real. I mean, he just doesn't have it. They're trying whatever they can, and God bless them for continuing to try. And then Tully comes out and he makes a challenge for Darby and Sting. And I'm sorry, but if Tully starts to wrestle again, what are we doing here? No one wants to see Tully wrestle again, and he's like almost 70 or something like that, or like, come on, bruh, stop it. And I'm sorry, no one wants to see Sean Spears wrestle either, so yeah. Like, they even gave him a cool gimmick or whatever, calling him the chairman or whatever, but no one cares. And we're not gonna qualify, are we? Nope. Alright, so let me go run through these things a little bit more. Ruby Soho and Jamie Hayter had a match. Look a little sloppy at certain points, but I'm still happy to see Ruby Soho getting in the ring and getting in the business again. Brian Anderson came out to call out Kenny Omega. Kenny was celebrating with his crew, and he asked him to get out the ring so him and Brian can talk. Brian goes to the yes lock. Honestly, never understood that reasoning. Because you're going to the ground and you're going to wrestle while 9 other guys are around the ringside, you're going to jump you. I don't want to get stomped out and I'm going to be on the ground. I can't defend myself that well. Yeah, no, it's not a good idea. Moxley took on Suzuki. We're gonna get to that stuff later. Right now we're gonna get KyleLiterally situated up in here. Look at this guy, his little Street Fighter background. You're something else. Hang on a second. We're gonna switch over to get Kyle in here now. We're not even gonna waste our time. I've already got kicked out of this match, so it doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle literally is in the building. Let's turn his mic up right here. There we go. What up, bro, Migo?
I am chilling. Today is Virgo season. I'm feeling fantastic. Let's talk sports.
Yes. Let's talk some sports.
More importantly, how are you? I haven't seen one of your check-ins on Facebook in a while.
Yeah. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna set it up for Friday. In the words of Big Boy, feeling good, feeling great, feeling great, feeling good. How are you, baby? Yeah, I can't complain, yo. It's a new season, new look, new vibes. Cowboys, first game of the season. My Cowboys are already playing. So if we failed, then
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to be prepared to get slaughtered the entire weekend. It doesn't matter. It's either good, it's either way.
I mean, it's the first week of the NFL football season,
Yep.
so of course there's going to be trash talk. Is that?
Absolutely.
But you're going to have to fill me in here. I have not watched a football game.
That's the best part about this segment here. It's sports, and you have no clue what we're talking about. You know what, fun fact?
Right.
We're basically the internet.
Exactly. I mean, everybody else has their own little hot take YouTube channels. So,
Exactly.
why not do it here? I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm here for it.
It'll be
You know what I mean?
perfect because it goes with our first segment. Before we even get into football, we're going to go back to basketball because we got to talk about Philly basketball here. And we got to talk about, not going to lie, after I heard his comments today from Brian, or not today, from yesterday from Brian Windhorst, he is now my favorite player. Ben effing Simmons.
Is your favorite player?
He is, this current Ben Simmons right now is my favorite Ben Simmons because he literally said, it's not my job to increase my my trade value. The balls on this guy. I love it. I love it.
So I guess you're here for the drama then.
I mean, I'm here for Ben to be more assertive and being more aggressive and being more stop being so passive about stuff. I need Ben because I've seen Ben talk trash, and there's been times when he's been caught on camera talking trash to players, and I'm like, that guy needs to be around 24/7. Because like somebody was talking something about Ben, and he was like, "Yo, man, you talk a lot of trash for being wild, corny, like or something like that." And I was like, "Ooh!" They're at the free throw line. I was like, "Ooh, way to go, Ben! Where
he's
are
got
you?"
some spiciness too. And you know what? That's what.
Yeah.
That he's got all this attitude off the court,
Mm-hmm.
like, and that's such a weird place to have that sort of like trash talk happening at the 4%.
Yeah, he's missing, and I think that's what it was.
You missing, and you still talking smack.
Well, no, he missed. And somebody was
audacity.
like, everybody was like, "See," and he was like, "Yo," he's like, "You talking a lot of trash for being corny or whatever, or being trash or whatever." And I was like, "Wow." I was like, "Look at you, see." I'm like, I want you to be that type of person all the time. Had that type of like that, not arrogance, but had that type of confidence that even if I'm missing, I'm still better than you on this floor. Like, I don't care if I miss. If I know if I'm gonna tell you from the straight, yo, I'm still better than you, even when I'm missing or failing. You still can't touch me. I'm like, yo, that is what you need. Especially in basketball where everybody's like everybody's friends and everybody's working out together and we're all hey yo, you wanna conspire to team up in like 2 years? And you're like, oh, come on. Now it's like, oh, hey, you trash. Like, oh, I'm trash, but you can't stop me though. Like, oh.
It's interesting that you point that out because I really think that this era of NBA be a parody of it. no one's really competing with each other, and there's no team loyalty.
Yep.
So even someone like when you look at someone like LeBron James, how many teams? Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland again, and now LA, and you know players like that you are used to just them talking about like being on one, maybe two teams, right?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, he was pretty good for a couple years. He was,
Yeah.
or someone like Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was a Blazer, or Shaquille O'Neal played for the Celtics.
He
I think
played
we
for like
forget
12
about that.
teams.
He played for so many teams,
I
and
forgot he was in Phoenix.
he's in Phoenix. He was in Phoenix, and I think even with someone like Charles Barkley, I think I forget that he played for other teams besides the Sixers. He didn't play for the Sixers.
Well, his best years were in Phoenix, and then
his best years were in Phoenix.
He went ring chasing in Houston, which no one wants to really want to talk about.
No,
It was kinda
that whole and I think
What was
this
it?
is-
Pippen
this
and
is-
Barkley and just old.
and this is my thing too. Stuff that's happening now has always. If
Mhm.
you really look at basketball from the 80s, 90s, and in the 2000s, people were still complaining. Everybody was requesting. Everybody wanted to.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, talking about as if, oh, these players don't have any loyalty. These players should just nut up and shut up and dribble the ball and all
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, it's like,
I mean, what are
you
you
really asking for from our players and from the league at this point?
What
Because
do you-
honestly, this whole Ben Simmons thing is interesting because it's like, this is so much drama and so compelling. And when that
Yeah.
trade gets pulled off, whether it's here or next 4 years from now, it's going to be monumental.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about it for years,
Yeah.
regardless of whether it's a good trade or if it's a bad trade.
Oh.
If the Sixers make a bad trade, can you
Oh.
imagine? If you think Hurricane Ida almost destroyed the city of Philadelphia, wait till you see the wrath of Sixers fans get a bad trade from Simmons.
I
Boy,
saw
can't wait to see
Jaleel
it.
I saw Jaleel Okafor in the move, and I was like, oh no, please don't put him in a Ben Simmons package. If we have to get
No.
Okafor back, I'd cry.
Listen, it's so weird because that's not the first time the Sixers have done that. How many times did we have Derek Coleman? How many times did we have like players like freaking not I'm pretty sure there's some other ones. Players that just keep coming to the Sixers. I know why.
And my whole thing about the lack of loyalty from players, I honestly, at first I used to feel like that. I was like, oh man, these players are just disloyal. But then you look at some of these franchises who are actively not looking to put the best team on the floor. Like, if you look at Detroit, who said, oh yeah, we're gonna play the best people on the floor. And you got Blake Griffin, who's barely walking, and a bunch of kids that you've never heard of, and you're not looking to sign any veteran presence at all. I don't understand how anybody could feel safe with staying there for too long. Because now you're at the point where you're wasting your life. We've seen players that are stuck on a really bad team for way too long and just kept staying there until it was too late. Now, at one point, Kevin Garnett would have been the prime example of this, staying with a franchise way too long. And
he would have gone without a championship.
Yeah. Like, and it's like, why would a player now wait 15 years or 12 years with that team if they still can't figure out how to get you a number 2 or 3 option, or even willing to find you a number 2 or 3 option? You can't sit here and tell me you have a superstar franchise player while also playing for the lottery. Like,
I think these franchises, the front office, have as much responsibility as getting the.
Yep.
Since we don't have the same transparency with front office as we do, or are privy to put that blame on the players, like, oh no, James Harden, you're not doing enough for the Rockets. No, they didn't bring enough people in the West, and that's why you have a team like the Brooklyn Nets. We're looking to win a championship, and they got done. Detroit is not looking to win a championship. They will not be winning one anytime soon. Long time since we seen Ben Wallace.
Matter
So
of fact,
that's just not going to happen.
in fact, if you look at Orlando's team last year, Orlando had Marcus Alford, who ended up tearing his ACL, whatever. But they also had 2 All-Stars at the time over on their team.
Yeah.
And they traded both of them right before the deadline and then said, we're going younger. We're basically a bunch of no-name people. Now, here's the problem with all of that. You were still charging full price in the arena for a team that you know is not there to win. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be like in the movie Major League, where they're looking to tank the Cleveland Indians on multiple occasions, and you're still jacking up the prices. Like, so you're trying to force your way out, but you're putting the worst possible team. And luckily, that team of misfits came together and still found a way to win. But you're really finding ways to just sit there and cut them off at the kneecaps at every possible chance of progress. But you're still charging your fan base the same amount. And then if they end up doing good, they end up jacking the prices up on them even more.
I think, and I don't know anything about finances, trading, something.
Yeah.
How complicated that is. But I really believe, hear me out, I think the NBA, and it needs to be like soccer league. Membership in the NBA where these are the top 12 or 16.
Yeah.
And then the other 16 teams, that's like the secondary. That's it's not quite the D League or anything. Here are the franchises, the mid-tier to low-tier, perennial 4 to 8 seeds at best, who are never going to win the championship. The Minnesota Timberwolves are never going to win. You know, the New Orleans Hornets or Pelicans are never going to win it. But it would incentivize a lot of those teams to move up ranks. That way they can charge more for tickets.
Yep.
That way that they can appeal to certain players. That way they can focus more on like hard.
Yeah.
And that would make things more interesting because like there's no reason why we have 32 teams in the league when the 10 ever in. So and I know that that's never going to happen. That's something that I can maybe do in NBA 2K, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, and since that's never going to exist, we're going to see this happen for time. So you might as well just do it. We're never going to have teams in Middle America. There are no Green Bay Packers in the league. Not going to be for a while. We had them in like the 2000s for a minute there after Kobe and Shaq split.
Well, wait, they do have a Packers team right now, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, yes, they do. Actually, I take that back. So we have, but are the Milwaukee Bucks really going to win it again anytime soon?
I mean, when you have
they barely had a roster last year. But see, and you know what? This is my thing too. It's just that like when you see someone like Giannis, and I know you don't like Giannis, I personally, because when a big man like that gets on fire,
yeah,
they're going to take over the league. Period. This is why I think a lot of people are talking about how great. After that, it was just it felt abrupt how many people were ready for him as the greatest or the one to beat in the league. Because I'm like, y'all were talking about how mediocre he was a few months ago.
Yep.
So okay, put pause on that. But at the same time, like we've seen that with players like Shaq, players like Chamberlain, all that other stuff. Big men can take over. When you have a player like Embiid and take over the league, you can do that. But now that's mired by this whole the process has betrayed the Sixers because here we go. This guy, this first pick, right? Wasn't he a number 1 pick? And or he was
top 3.
He was top 3 because I know was it Tatum that went that, but after him,
Tatum was in the Fultz draft.
Yeah, right. So that in itself tells you this league right now is simply just this league that is built on shooters and all. Here is a big man. The Milwaukee Bucks. Nobody was talking about them when the playoffs started. Nobody was talking about the Atlanta Hawks when the playoffs.
No.
But they still made noise in the league. They had a really entertaining Eastern Conference Finals match.
Yep.
I didn't know who was going to win that, and they won it all, and that's dope. But Man, it's going to be Nets and Lakers this year. There's really no point in talking about basketball till next year.
I honestly
And
don't.
I'm also okay with that.
I honestly, and I'm ready. I'm ready to even put the hammer down on this prediction. I have no faith that the Brooklyn Nets are gonna make it to the finals this year. I have
Okay.
zero
And
faith.
Zero faith. Can you tell me why zero? Why zero?
First thing first, I'm already conflicted about Kyrie Irving. So at that point, I honestly never know if he's either going to be healthy or if he's going to even be like just mentally there. He's a big question mark health wise. Also, James Harden's always a big question mark health wise as well.
Absolutely.
And
so is Kevin Durant.
Lakers to the finals.
The whole squad is questionable. Like,
Yeah.
Griffin is on there too, right? Like they are all injury prone.
Yeah,
So are the
there's a
Lakers.
lot of injuries, and I see them the way they play. They always find a way to get to the injury list before they get to the finals. So I see at least maybe two of them going to the injury list and being out, which is going to be a problem for both of them because two of them by themselves is not winning that conference. Like if it, I don't care. If it's James Harden at 80 at 10% and Kevin Durant at 100%, it's still not enough. And I do believe the Lakers should have a chance to definitely make it to the finals. I'm not putting a hammer down on them yet, but I feel confident. Like I'm willing to bet the farm on that one that the Brooklyn Nets are not making it to the finals. I know everybody else is loving it, but I honestly have zero feeling towards it. I have no feeling that they're going to be there. I feel like they will struggle again if they have to go against Milwaukee because Drew Holiday is still there and Middleton's still there. Their team is still intact.
Listen. I am actually pretty much with you on that. I don't think 0 is the number that I would go with, but to go back to what we were saying earlier, if we get Lakers and think about that, we have Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving going up against LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook,
and Melo.
We've been talking about all 6 of those players nonstop for the last 10 years, and they are all going to be in the finals.
Yep.
Of course, I want to see that for the drama. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't think so. I think there are teams in the West and the East that are going to outpace them. I think injury prone. No way that those teams are going to play in 60 games together. Alone in the playoffs, it's just not going to happen in any team in this league.
Yep.
So,
Hornets are definitely making the playoffs this year. Definitely, hands down.
Hornets are definitely they're. What else is?
Yep. Melo Ball is for real. I don't understand how people were kind of like slow in it. Matter of fact, you know what? I get why. The Ball family has notoriously learned never to work out. They're terrible like gym people. But I see that they're working with like actual professionals now, and they're working on their body, so it's cool. The Jello Ball was doing well in the summer league, so he'll probably get a little deal with the Hornets, so that'll be cool. Lonzo just got a deal with Chicago. Chicago's going to be a good team as well. I don't think people are paying attention to Chicago. Chicago's team is very young and very stacked. Like, that was the one thing I did love about Melo game 2 is it did mature because he went from just checking up threes, but now he's more of a strong passer. He's
more well-rounded.
Yeah, he used to, because I remember when I used to watch him play and in high school and stuff, it was just, I'm going to jack up a 3. I don't even care about defense. Like, I was like, yo, is this kid ever heard of defense? Like, he was just shoot a 3 and he'd be like, oh, y'all want me to continue playing the game after this? Like, and he's celebrating and he's chit-chatting and everybody else is like playing defense and he's waiting for the cherry pick, and I'm like, nah, you are not 15 years in the league LeBron at this point. No, sir. You're young in high school. Get back on defense. But yeah, like, he's definitely matured, and I feel like that'll definitely work out for him.
So let's bring it home real quick. We talked about all those teams. Where do they sit?
All right, so with the Sixers, Now, are we counting Ben Simmons still on the team?
But that's the thing. Like, that's still part of the whole. Like, that's going to carry itself over. If Ben Simmons isn't playing, he will still find a way to impact the team
Yeah.
because his presence or his lack of presence is going to impact this. And I can't see. I honestly, I'd be surprised if the Sixers get home court advantage.
Oh yeah. Here's my.
They are
my,
5 seeded back.
Here's my thing about the Sixers, because right now, if it's the whole Ben Simmons situation is not resolved, we could possibly see Ben and Tyrese Maxey sitting out, which is something we do not want to hear.
Wait. Why would Tyrese Maxey sit?
That's the thing.
Something?
Rich Paul is the manager, is the agent for Ben Simmons and Ty. That's what I told you about your jersey.
I didn't know that. That's okay. That makes sense.
And so
I did not know that.
That's why when Ben was requesting this trade, they also wanted to package Maxey into it, and that's what's been going on the entire time. Is that Maxey has been packaged in all these deals is because Rich Paul has been pushing for all of this. Rich Paul wants to get both his clients out of Philadelphia. I don't know what happened, and I don't think we're ever going to find out what exactly happened, which caused Rich Paul to have such a ugly negative effect. And this isn't just happening in the offseason. This happened before the offseason because they were really pushing for that during the trade deadline. And Maxey was always being thrown in the mix. And I was trying to figure out, why would we trade Maxey? I'm guaranteeing that Rich Paul was having this agenda being pushed before we even thought about possibly trading for James Harden. And if that's the case, we could possibly see both of them holding out for a trade, which would be ugly for us because now we're losing 2 possible ball handlers.
This franchise is realize that.
I don't know. I don't even think it's them though. That's the thing that I'm confused about. Is because Maxey is a rookie. Or he was a rookie. So for him to all of a sudden to say, you know what, I don't even care that I am on my rookie deal. I'm listening to my agent at this point. He wants us to move. He sounds like a kid that is being forced out of his childhood like neighborhood because his family just said we bouncing, and he like, yo, but I go to school here, like, and they're like, we don't care, we're ready to go, and
that's wild.
Yes.
Yeah. So Fisher said, here's the thing. I never got down.
The process died 3 years ago, basically. Once we started spending money and we ended up getting Tobias Harris and giving him that money, the process is pretty much dead.
I think the process the foundation of the process is what ruined it. The fact that we tanked and we were drafting power forwards and all willy-nilly when clearly the league was going towards shooter-based scenario. It was almost as if the Sixers were trying so hard to who they were in the wild to me. Well, how many draft picks we stood on. We
were also banking on a coach who thought that he could recreate the Twin Towers.
Right. We were trying to be San Antonio in reality. And this is what I've been trying to tell everybody.
To be honest, folks,
for the last 10, 15 years is that the Sixers don't have an identity and have not had an identity for a long time. I'm talking about before Iverson. Barkley left, this franchise was a mess. Iverson came in, they still didn't have an identity. That's why they didn't know what other pieces to put around him. Their best thing was like, oh, let's put Dikembe Mutombo in here, and then nothing else. Our second best scorer was what? Are you kidding me?
Eric Snow,
come on.
George Lynch.
Eric Snow. And George Lynch was injured for like the finals. He was the only person on the team who could shoot a 3. So it's just like this franchise has perennially been mediocre. The process was based off of the fact that this franchise has not had an identity. But continue to be that. So we decide to market the fact that they're going to abandon the process and just be a regular ass franchise trying to win it. because the Sixers can. It's a major market. It has legacy in history. We can pull players in here. We don't have to tank to do that. We are not the other teams that are.
And
It's just frustrating.
let me clear that up. Fultz is definitely not a bust for the simple fact that he's injured, or he was injured, and he had no business being on that floor when Brett Brown decided he was going to let him keep going out there, knowing that he was completely hurt still. That was definitely just overconfidence and over arrogance by a man who believed he was Greg Popovich, and he's not. Not even close.
Arrogance.
He was so full of himself, and the worst part was he didn't have a general manager behind him to tell him shut up.
Yep.
He was the general manager at one point, and they were like, you know what? And then you also had Elton Brand out there who did not know anything about front office work. He didn't even know what was going on in the building. He played there.
He was one season out of the league.
Yeah.
He was like 1 or 2 seasons out of the league before he was general manager.
He didn't know certain places in the building. He played here. Like
right, he played here.
So
again, another way that the Sixers do, they will pick up these big men who are on the twilight of their career and start them and expect to make waves.
yeah. So yeah,
Elton Brand was one of them, and then let's hire him as our general manager. There's so much toxicity.
Yeah,
going to continue.
You got a bunch of
everybody
people that are part owners of it too, and like there's no one that's really just like I'm here for the team. They're kind of just a bunch of people that are talking heads. What's the bottom line? Did we make money? Or let's go get some cool jersey looking for some sales. Like, but you have all that situation. And you have Fultz who is clearly injured, who had no business. He should have been in the G League to work on his timing and work on his rhythm. But instead, you fast tracked him to the play in the pros. And let's not completely you're putting a person at 50% in the league with actual legit professionals playing at 100%. You're putting him at a disadvantage, and then you're expecting him to produce at a high level as well. Now, he left here. Hey, thank you for the follow. So he left here. He went to Orlando. They said, you know what? We're going to sit you. Go get your procedure. Go do whatever you got to do. Rest. He comes back. He is outscoring our bench by himself in Orlando.
Yep.
Like, he averaged more than our entire bench did on most nights.
I'm telling you.
Until he tore his ACL, he was doing great this past season in Orlando.
Look at how players thrive when they leave.
Nerlens Noel did all right in New York.
Nerlens Noel. Fault. All these players thrive when they leave the Sixers. Ben Simmons going to thrive.
That's why I don't want him to go. That's why I'm like, no.
And you know what? It could be one of those things where we end up in the same situation with like Nets.
But I'm also hoping
whatever
that
team he ends up with playing them in the finals 5-10 years from now. Twilight of their more drama like that. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, boy, the Sixers are their window closed.
But I'm hoping Doc will maybe talk with him and they'll figure something out. Like, because it's one of those things where you're sitting there and you're hoping, and all the people that we talked about that left and became good players were during the Brett Brown administration. Let's make sure we clear that up, because I think Jimmy probably would have stayed in Philly if we had Doc instead of Brett. Because
think so.
Jimmy said that out of his mouth, and he just couldn't respect Brett Brown as a coach.
Yeah, listen, I can't stand.
I don't even like saying his name, and I've said it like 3 times this year.
You see how I kind of cringed when I said his name, right? Like I don't like saying BB's name. So, but again, I think you could see other players have or this. I think people are trying to put blame on Brett Brown, or Simmons himself, or whomever. I think it's deeper than. I think something happened at some point in the 90s. Have not been able to recover from this franchise. About kind of players they want to bring. This feels like cacophony. Whatever we can get. There was no reason why we should have signed Tobias Harris. A role player. He is a sixth man. He is not a star. Wasn't that great in LA with the Clippers. It has a lot to do with. I don't understand what this franchise.
Yeah.
Decisions that they're making. I don't understand the message that they're putting out to the fans. How they're orchestrating their teams and putting them together. I don't. Starting five. Just don't get it, and
Yeah.
I need answers because I just don't know what to think about this franchise right now.
I totally get the Tobias Harris contract being a major question mark. I do too, and I forget he's on the team when I'm watching the game, which is not a good sign. And I feel like they only paid him just because he can make up the scoring that Ben Simmons will not do. And I feel like if Ben was a better scorer or even a more like consistent scorer, Tobias Harris probably would not have a contract with us. And we'd have probably only borrowed him for like a year because they'd be like, oh, he's just a rental. But when you realize, oh, Tobias Harris is going to shoot. So, and then the thing about it was if he did his role and he kind of played it like cool but Ben was still scoring a lot, he'd have probably got a smaller contract and not a max. And they'd say, hey, man, this is all we can offer you. We understand you can probably get a max anywhere else. But if you want to stay here, you can get a winning team and you'll still make some good money. You get like, the money that a third best player on the team gets. You won't get number one money. You won't get number two, but you'll get three, something with four type of money. But you're on a winning team. You're here. But when you have a situation like this, and it's an ugly situation because you have a guy that's a point guard that's not supposed to be a point guard, and you have a lot of question marks, and now you have an agent that's a little bit pushy, that's kind of ruining not one but two relationships you have with players in the team. Then you have another star player that is a little bit more frustrated, and now he's going to fight with random people. So now you're not even sure what the plan is, because now you're like, if they happen to end up trading Ben Simmons during this preseason or whatever, you're never gonna get the value back. You're never gonna get close to it.
They're not gonna trade.
They're not. I don't think they will.
There's no urgency.
No. If he wants to sit and be that type of guy, he can go ahead and sit and look stupid. Because the only person that's calling is Cleveland, and there's no way in hell we're gonna trade him to anybody in the conference. If we're gonna trade him out west. So we only see him maybe twice a year. There's no way we're gonna allow Ben Simmons to play us 4 times a year and beat the crap out of us every time.
It's gonna be it's gonna be so wild when he comes back. Philadelphia play.
He's gonna
He's wearing another uniform. The fans are gonna go.
He's gonna have Kobe Bryant like energy before Kobe was beloved by everyone. But when when Kobe first got when Kobe was in the Lakers and he said, "Oh, I'm not from Philly" or whatever, and everybody was like, "You are a sellout. We all remember Lower Marion," but they were booing him out the building for a while. He'll get that type of level just because of how toxic our fan base is now compared to how toxic it is back then. Right now, our fan base is super, super ugly toxic. Like, we will threaten children online if you happen to have a Ben Simmons jersey on. Like, that's the level of gross. We're also fans that throw stuff at people after a pandemic because we just don't care. Like, we dumped our gross food that we've been touching in the middle of a pandemic on someone's head. Yeah, that's us. That's us.
Philly fans are.
Yeah. So they will definitely boo him out the building. They'll find whatever racist comment they can think of about Australians too. They'll they'll try to insult that people anytime, insult Australians anytime they get a chance. Like, hey, you look like you're wearing an Australian jersey. Oh, you bum! Like, oh wow! Yeah. So yeah, I feel like they probably go to like well known like Australian like social network pages and like just go off. You guys gave us Ben Simmons, you pieces of trash. Like that's how toxic the fan base is. And I feel like they're just going to be even worse, and they're going to get worse, and they're just going to just keep having this like revolving door of grossness. But I don't think we're going to trade him, and I'm hoping that we can maybe work this out. It's one of those things where you have like a team meeting with the closed door, and you say, "Yo, we're going to talk." And B says, "Yo, you've been missing my text messages. We in the same practice room right now. Let's talk." Doc, get over here. We talking. Toby, you got money? Get over here. Hey,
You know what's funny? It's like
did
so
we
much of
resign
that.
Green yet already?
Yeah, we did.
All right.
Yeah.
Green, Curry, get your behinds in here now. Let's talk. Like, we're gonna run this back, and we're gonna do it as a team. I know we had some conversations. Mistakes were made on all of us. We all should have been thrown underneath the bus. Ben caught a lot of flack. Ben,
The
stop
whole
being so sensitive.
squad
Hmm?
needs to catch slack. Like this year's playoff team, so disappointing. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember you and I think we talked about Sixers played Wizards, lost that first game. I said, "Yo, Sixers can lose this series."
Oh yeah,
And didn't. They definitely gave.
we got lucky.
At
Beal
the same
got
time,
hurt. We were lucky.
we got
Beal got
lucky
hurt.
because if Beal didn't get hurt,
Yeah.
that's a 7-game series, and I guarantee you that's when we would have saw the Atlanta. And I think this team was the most bloated number one seed. I think as they were,
Yeah.
and like, I think all the players was injured and was putting it all out there on the floor. Listen, if I'm not necessarily the kind of person who 100% loyal. Fandom is weird to me, but I do like rooting for some of these players. I really want to see Jordan, even if it's not. I think that's probably going to happen.
You know,
I
I'm
just don't
going
see
to
the
get
Sixers
JoJo's getting some blame too. He had 9 turnovers in that last game. That's just
because he's
disgusting.
playing on one knee.
Hey, you know
and
what?
nobody else
You know
is
what?
stepping up.
You know what? 9 turnovers still. Tighten it up.
He had no help, dude.
Although-
Like he had the ball the whole time.
I know.
When you watch those playoffs, if you
I know.
like everyone's just standing around, they just give it to him in the post and then expect him to do everything.
I know.
And like
We also
those 9 turnovers are bloated.
I feel like losing Danny Green was a big mark too that we don't.
It was
We
huge.
don't understand.
Because Danny Green was the real general.
He
Wasn't
was.
it?
No,
It was Danny Green.
and Danny would have been the one to talk to Ben on the floor and be like, "Don't worry about it. You got this. Light skinned brothers for life." Like we understand the combo. Like,
Hey,
like, but yeah, it felt like losing Danny, and then you have not having a bench at all be productive. Like, and I love what's his name? Not Maxi. Who's the other guard that's out there?
he's Steibel.
No, that's Ivo. The guard, small one. No, God, no. Yeah, good. Thank God we got rid of him. He was useless.
Who else is on our bench? I don't.
Milton,
Max-
Shake Milton. Shake Milton.
Oh wow, I forgot about Shake.
Everyone did
Oh.
because you know why? He doesn't do enough. He's like
Doesn't
very
do enough.
streaky. It's disturbing, and it's one of those things where you're just like, bro, do something more. You gotta at least give me a good solid 10 every night, at least. You can't just show up like then Korkmaz got hurt, and I was like, or was it Korkmaz? No, it wasn't Korkmaz. Korkmaz didn't get hurt. The guy in Phoenix, Dario Saric.
Yeah.
And I keep getting them confused. I think they're the same guy, but Korkmaz has to do something. It's disgusting how he can all of a sudden knock out 8 threes in one game, then all of a sudden act like he's never seen a basketball game in a day of his life and have no points. I'm
He's a
sorry.
really inconsistent Hito Turkey.
Oh,
That's-
oh. Oh, oh, that made my stomach turn. How accurate that was.
man.
Ito, Ito's
And
that
that's what I'm
bull.
saying. Like that's what this whole entire team never
Yeah.
know. They're a box of chocolate. Know what you're
The Sixers
every
are
single game.
the Sixers are a boxing match. You just gonna sit there and wait to see who's gonna screw us over first, the judges or the fighters.
Or you just
or the
lean on
ref.
your opponent the whole time for 10 rounds and then all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
why
And
am I paying
then put your arms up at the end,
$59.95 for that?
and then put your arms up at the end like you won the fight. Yo, man, so sit down.
I swear, I forget who I was watching. It was just kind of on in the background. I think I was at I remember watching a match. And I'm like, is this boxing or are they just hugging? Hugging competition? Because I swear no one threw punches for
Well,
like most
they're
of
all-
and I'm like,
They're all waiting.
I hope that's not what boxing is now.
It is now because they're waiting to play. They're playing the cards now. No one's looking for the knockouts anymore, unless you're looking at some of these other fighters like the Earl Spences. Sometimes Terrence Crawford when he's fighting someone that's way below his level anyway, he'll definitely look for a knockout. Tank Davis, if he's in a real arrogant mood, he'll definitely go for a knockout. But if you're going for somebody like what's his name about billions? I forget his name, but I can't even think about it. Oh my god, he's really cool with Mayweather, and it sucks because I'm gonna think of it later, and I'm gonna be upset about the not remembering it. Hang on, I gotta look it up now. It's gonna bother me.
Speaking of boxers, total side.
Adrian Broner, there we go. I knew it.
I wouldn't.
Literally
But
the
have you-
worst. He literally says, "I'm not a boxer. I'm a rapper that just happens to box." He doesn't care to fight. I mean, he cares to fight because he gets a payday. He just says, "You're here to watch me win or lose anyway, so it doesn't matter if I win." I was like, wow, this is what boxing has become, because everybody is trying to live that Mayweather life where they're gonna sell you on the fight. They don't care if the fight's good or not because they already took your money. And that's what you are getting now when you have these Jake Paul fights that you're paying $60 for to watch him do a non-professional fight for 8 rounds with another non-professional and tell me that is a fight that we need to be watching and one of the most watched ones, because you're now giving boxing, the sport that has been traditionally held like very protective of their business for so long, is now being tossed around like a dog toy that just randomly just showed up in a pit bull factory, and it's just an ugly sight to see. Like that Jake Paul fight
the
was
last
disgusting.
time there's been a knockout was when dude got knocked over the head.
well,
Last time we've seen a knockout in the world.
last time I've seen a knockout was Anthony Joshua getting knocked out, and the most surprising victory by Ruiz, who was completely overweight, had no business being in that fight at all, or even had no business winning that fight, because Anthony Joshua was pretty much pegged to be the golden boy of heavyweight boxing. And Ruiz came in like super overweight. He looked like a guy that maybe just left the bar after wing night, and he was in a wing competition, and then said, "You know what? I'm gonna go do a couple rounds with this heavyweight fighter," and ended up knocking this guy out because he has a glass jaw and he's scared to fight anybody real, like Deontay Wilder. I'm just gonna say it right here. It's my show. I don't care. He's afraid. He's been afraid. That's why he got Tyson Fury to fight him instead of actually him fighting him, because he could have fought him in Vegas. He could have fought him in London. But Wilder said, "We'll fight wherever. I'll do it." And then you ran like Floyd Mayweather ran from Manny Pacquiao for 10 years. But I'm not saying that either, although I am saying it because it's on my show.
Yeah, I think that is.
Oh yeah, Ryan Garcia
I will
did
say,
knock
though,
out somebody. He is good.
I
He's
ha-
a good fighter too.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but I
you're
have
not
been
gonna see
enjoying
knockouts.
Mike Tyson. This,
Yeah.
might as well just lean into the whole comedy.
Although, do I count Floyd Mayweather's knockout of Logan Paul in the middle of the fight and then holding him up to keep him from not getting knocked down so they can keep the fight going?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never he was out. Him, matter of fact, both Paul brothers have been like pretty much laid out and was luckily held up by by God, because was it Logan Paul got held up by Floyd Mayweather, and then Jake Paul got held up by the ropes because he's sitting there, he looked out of it. I've never seen two people get knocked out so easily because they're not fighters. And
like, what do they do? Who are these Paul brothers?
oh, they're YouTube.
Isn't one of them a streamer?
They're YouTube stars. They made YouTube videos for vlogs. Jake Paul was
Doesn't everybody hate him?
Huh?
Like, isn't like one of like they look like really super racist. Like it looks like they're into boxing just so they could like.
Yeah. Well,
That's all it is. That's really weird.
they're from Ohio too. But
They're from Ohio.
I love Ohio shade. It's always fun. But
Ohio Shade is great.
but was it Jake Paul was on a Disney Channel show for a while, and then he got
What?
fired. Yeah. But
Yeah,
they were known for their YouTube channels, and they had a bunch of like the YouTube, like they were like one of those big YouTube stars. Logan Paul is famous for a video of his trip to Japan.
Oh right, I remember that. Oh, that was a mess.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
I blocked that out.
Yeah. Logan Paul
Oof.
also has a podcast right now. Jake Paul is now considering himself a boxer. Yeah. Yeah. It's like
No
a
wonder I don't.
bunch of Ferris Buellers living their day offs. I only say that because last night was movie night over on the Discord, and Ferris Bueller Day Off knocked it out the park. Good movie. Still holds up. All right, I've gotten all my Ben Simmons stuff off my chest. I don't
We
think
somehow ended up at boxing.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think they're gonna get a trade. I don't think anybody's going to be willing to take a massive trade, because if Rich Paul is trying to package both his players in a trade, then no one's gonna have value. Because first thing first, Ben Simmons alone is valuable, and now you have Tyrese Maxey, who is in his second year, is super young and super valuable. So unless someone's willing to give up like 2-star players, it's never gonna happen.
I think at this point, honestly, probably this
Yeah.
kind of enough. And yet I still. But what is his defining moment?
Well, Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons, when in the 4 years that he's been in the league, what do you think like his good? What makes him Ben Simmons? We talk a lot about how he's incredible defensive vision on the court is super fast, strong, and all.
For sure, I'll get to your question in a second. All right,
What has he done?
Ben Simmons.
What has Ben Simmons done to set him apart? The rest of the what makes him a top 5, top 10?
Well, defense.
And
His defense, being a defensive player of the year candidate is definitely one of them.
if that's the case, then I think you could put
Thibault is up there too, yes. But the only difference between him and Thibault is that he's a little bit more bigger, so he's a little bit more. He can be more aggressive down the lane or whatever. If he does the job of a power forward, he could do a lot more post moves and stuff like that. Then he would be fine in that position, and he could be definitely grow a lot bigger as a player if he can learn a post game and just work the the what's that thing? The underneath the basket. He can work underneath the basket, and his passing obviously because he's still a ball handler. He can handle this stuff. He's just not a shooter. If he can do everything else that's not a shooter, that's still valuable no matter what. But if he's not willing to do the other stuff, that's where the problem starts to become a thing.
Right, because I don't think, and I don't know how Benson. I hope. I don't really hope. I wonder if the because I don't think he. That's why I'm asking that. I think when you look at somebody like clearly when I look at somebody like Ben, look at someone like Kevin Durant. That's a number one. That's a dude that's going to score at will, not intimidated by. Has a chip on his shoulder. I think we even saw that in the interview. I think Ben Simmons is just.
Yeah.
We all know he's a great defender. I don't think he's your number one. I don't think he.
And I'd never put him in number 1 or 2, like ever. Yeah. Even before this whole situation, it's always been Embiid's number 1, Tobias Harris is number 2, and then to be honest, he's actually 4th because Seth Curry is a really good scorer. So I put him as 4th. That's why I was like, I never cared about his scoring. And everybody's been like, oh, he only had like 10 points. I'm like, he's not supposed to be, he's not looked at as the guy that's going to get 30 points every night. I didn't care for him to get 30 points. I just needed him to be attentive enough to work the basket and not cause us any more problems. And if he gets fouled, he's got to work his free throws. I didn't need him to be like, I got to take over this game.
Yeah, but and I think maybe the Philly fans kind of have a narrative.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? I think of Ben Simmons is more like 2 players. Probably going to get shade. Chance, please laugh at me. I don't think I would compare Ben Simmons, Iguodala, Sean Kemp, because I think a lot of people forget how dominant in the Sean Kemp was. How he could go from one side of the floor, 10 power forward, fast as hell.
If he could play like Sean Kemp, if he could play like Sean Kemp, this would be perfect.
Yep, and that's and I think honestly, this is what I'm talking about when in full circle here, and I'm going to end on this point. A second last, but Sixers franchise notoriously bad at scouting players and developing players.
Yeah.
So with a player like Ben Simmons, I think if you had him inserted at the power forward, didn't give him the keys to the franchise like you trying to get keys to 2 players.
Yeah.
Same time, I think all of this would be happier. You wouldn't be catching all this heat from fans and other players and the coaching staff and all that other stuff saying like shoot the ball. And it's like he's not a shooter.
Yeah.
Would you expect Sean Kemp to be a shooter? You expect Andre Iguodala could shoot, but like, he was better known for could help him.
Yep.
Ben Simmons is. So part of me, we could be upset at Ben Simmons, but I think we need to be upset at the Sixers organization.
Yep.
They stunted his thing. The fact that he's shooting with the wrong hand, that's the same thing that happened with Markelle Fultz. We ruined his shot, and he had to go to another franchise to get it back. There are a lot of common denominators players when Sixers leave. The same thing happens. It's going to be interesting to see the rest of Ben. Goes to Sacramento for 2 years.
Yep. So yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna touch Ben. I'm not gonna touch the Ben Simmons. I think we've hammered this one home. And apparently, we have a football game tonight.
We sure do.
So we got the Cowboys taking on the Bucks. The season opener. Apparently, there's like 40 different activities before the game starts. Ed Sheeran.
Tom Brady's gonna win. Just the spoiler alert. Let everybody know this is where this conversation is going to go. But anyway, continue.
I completely disagree. I feel like the Cowboys are going to pull the upset.
Okay.
Now, the only reason why I'm saying this is because I feel like, Super Bowl hangovers are real. And a lot of players, even after when people win championships or whatever, that first game, they're kind of just still relaxed. They're kind of just like, still in the moment of celebrating the victory. The fans are out there. So they don't have their foot on the gas all the time. And I feel like that's going to happen here. And I feel like the Cowboys are going to catch them slipping. And they're going to steal the victory. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout or something like that. But I feel like it's going to be a close one where they're going to be like, wow, I didn't see that coming. And I think it's going to be a good one. I guarantee you, matter of fact, it'll be the highest rated game all season.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be number one. All for the simple fact, one, Cowboys are already the number one rated viewing team. And now you have them taking on the defending champions, and they're the only game that night. It is completely going to be must-see TV. I don't even need to know the ratings. The ratings are going to be blown off the roof. Everybody's going to watch it. Even people that say they're not going to watch it because they don't care about either team, they're going to watch it because they hate the teams that much. They hate Tom Brady. They hate the Bucks. They hate the Cowboys. They hate everything about this game, and they're going to watch it with, like, super hype and anxiety and praise, and they're going to be super happy to be there, and that's exactly what's going to go down. And the Cowboys are going to surprise everybody.
I'll tell you what. Again, haven't watched the football games. Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Was it 2020? And I wasn't even really watching it. I was playing Smash. But you might have to check your email tonight because you're going to get a notification that's telling you that somebody's trying to log in with. Watch some football tonight. And I think it's going to happen because I might have to check out this game and I have no interest in it. At the same time, this is really compelling and I kind of want to. I think with the Cowboys, like, again, I really don't like. I'm out of touch. All I know is that Tom Brady is still. And everyone is really about how they feel about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
and that is all I know about football right now.
Congrats on getting the number one spot on the depth chart. I guess, like, for now,
Right.
because you could be traded soon.
Yeah.
I saw someone post something in which I thought was hilarious. Was that who was it? The Eagles won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles after Carson Wentz got hurt. They ended up getting rid of Nick Foles. Nick Foles went to Jacksonville and eventually got replaced by Gardner Minshew, who is now in Philadelphia and probably going to replace Jalen Hurts, who just replaced Carson Wentz.
You know what? I looked on my Facebook, and 9 years ago today, I posted to Nick Foles, future. Everybody laughed at me, and I was right. And now the Eagles don't. Quarterback Carson Wentz. Isn't he injured?
Carson Wentz is scheduled for week 1. He is scheduled to play week 1.
Okay.
He had foot surgery to fix an injury that he had in high school that was never, handled. Fun fact.
Injuries are weird like that, though.
Fun fact, he had knee surgery. He tore his ACL, remember? And he could have gotten the foot surgery fixed then at the same time.
But did they know? Because I've heard
apparently
of a lot of players
apparently
who
they've
have
known. It just wasn't a big issue until recently, and it became more and more of a problem.
I mean, I've heard of players in all sports. Hey, I had a broken foot for 6 months. I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Damn, that's nuts.
Apparently, a player on his,
and I'm like, oh, I don't want to walk.
A player on his offensive line had the same issue, and they both had surgery like days apart. They're both scheduled to come back. He also tested positive for COVID. He's now off of that COVID list as well. So He's good to
So-
go. He's playing. But tonight
So, as
is
someone who hasn't watched any football, when I pull up, watch this game, what am I looking for?
Okay.
Give me the keys to the game.
keys to the game. You're gonna look at the Cowboys offense first thing first. For the simple fact that Dak Prescott has been out with a broken ankle, and he had shoulder issues at the start of preseason. So he's been limited in throwing, but he still says he's healthy and still good to go. You also have an offensive line that is now without Zach Martin for this game, because I believe he tested positive for COVID, so he's on the COVID list, so he's out a week at least. You have Zeke Elliott coming back in much better shape than ever. Like, I don't know how you can get more shredded and more
Right, I was
more
like, wait a minute,
abs.
he was in good shape before. What?
Yeah, he actually
Wow.
he slimmed down even more, which is awesome, I guess. Yeah. So you have those two situations going on. You have Tampa Bay team who basically returned their entire Super Bowl team from last year to this new season. You're also looking at Tom Brady, who's playing his 300th game. You're looking at Gronk. You're gonna see if Gronk is actually gonna play now or save up his energy until the end of the season, like a lot of these veterans do now. Like, he'll have a couple of spots here and there, but I don't see Gronk. If you're a fantasy guy and you have Gronk on your team, be a little cautious when you're playing him in the first couple of weeks of the season, because he is somebody that's a late season charge because he's older. Like, but those two, Dallas's defense is completely different now. They brought in the former coach of the Atlanta Falcons in to be their defensive coordinator. They brought in a lot of rookies. A lot of young guys are in there. A couple of vets are in there, but it's a lot of young and new faces. And they're pretty much, working together for the first time these last couple of weeks. So you're gonna see a lot of new faces, a lot of new moves, but you're gonna see some old faces that are still there, and hopefully they'll be able to blend this together. Especially their secondary; those safeties are new. Some of the corners are new. I think a couple of people in the defensive line are new, but the linebacking core is still pretty much intact. You still got Leighton Vander Esch is still there, but he's also been injured, so you're never 100% sure if he's going to actually be, fully ready. I believe his neck surgery at one point last year, so it was like, yeah. So, and I believe he's playing for a new contract too, so he's got to play out. He's got to play well for them to get him for him to get a new deal here. So
That's fascinating. Have all that newness.
Yep.
They all have so much. It almost
Mhm.
sounds like Cowboys.
Aha! Aha!
So yeah, I mean, listen, I picked Tom Brady because I've learned in the last 21 years.
I totally get it. I get it.
But at the same time, I don't like picking. I want the Cowboys. I want them to win like 41-10. Bring it. Let's go. I don't
Let's
even want
go.
Let's send that message to the league now. It's funny. It's funny. I'm an Eagles fan, but I do like boys, and I love the rivalry because at the same time, it's like I love the Eagles and Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever the Cowboys play the Eagles, I find myself like, oh,
Yo,
because
they
it's my
are
favorite thing. There's nothing better than seeing a miserable Philly.
the best day in the world is that Monday morning after an Eagles loss, because everybody is so quiet and defeated, and they're broken, and I'm walking in. Everybody feel like they have a storm cloud over their head, and I'm walking like I'm like living the best day of my life. I feel like it's
sunshine. You got flowers blossoming as you walk.
Like free ice cream everywhere.
Free ice cream everywhere. It's
The Wi-Fi is just on point the entire day. Everything is just magical. You don't even have to worry about the coffee not hitting right. The coffee is at the right perfect temperature as soon as you take that first sip.
and like the whole time you have it,
Yeah.
it doesn't get lukewarm or nothing. It just
Doesn't
stays hot.
die out. It doesn't suck. The drink you got with ice in it, the ice didn't melt too quickly, so it didn't get warm.
There.
Woo! You hit. It's like that first note in that Michael Jackson. Which song is that? What's the one Chris Tucker does in
Not till you get enough.
Yeah, you sitting there like that when that ooh hits. That's how it feels. Ooh! Like yes, that's how I feel every Monday. But if it's an Eagles win, that's Sunday night when all the Eagles fans realize the Eagles won because they didn't watch the game. They just saw the updates on Facebook. That is the most toxic moment of your day because that's Sunday night. They're like, yeah, where all them Giants fans at now at the loot? Like, yo, you didn't even watch the game. I don't care. I saw the score. Like, yo, stop it.
And like in Cowboys Nation, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Are people that miserable?
Oh God, yes. The Cowboys fan base is a toxic fan base as well. Like, I was in a Cowboys group.
Texas.
I was in a Cowboys group and I felt all optimistic, like, yeah, let's go, Cowboys. And I was like, yo, man, I hate these people, yo. And they were like, yo, man, I hate Dak even more. And I'm like, yo, and he's like, he doesn't deserve his money. He has a weak ankle, a little wuss. I'm like, yo, he is our quarterback, guys. What is going on? And they're like, he sucks. We should have just kept Quincy Carter. I'm like, yo, you guys are disgusting.
Oh.
Ew. I just couldn't. I kept watching, and they were like talking about how Zeke is fat, and I'm like, yo, if Zeke's fat, then I am obese. Like, I was like, yo, you're calling Zeke fat? Like, what is this? So no, yeah, I couldn't even last. I left that fan base. So I left that group. So, oh, I was like, nope, I can't go. I can't stay there. Yeah, that's my prediction. Is definitely the Cowboys are going to steal a win tonight against the Bucks. They're in Tampa Bay, I believe.
I mean, they better be. They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Respectful.
That would be hilarious to be on the road after you won the Super Bowl and then had to celebrate on someone else's turf. Although, if you're going to have to celebrate anywhere, celebrate in Dallas would not be the ugliest place. That stadium is amazing.
True.
You got
But I'm pretty sure Jerry Jones would not be very.
He wouldn't. No.
Celebrating.
But we got Super Bowl predictions. Way too early. Week one didn't even start.
I got the Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC Championship.
Oh my god.
Houston pulls it off in overtime. And then I got the Cowboys and oh boy, in the NFC.
Everything about this.
I'm gonna pick Carolina.
Everything about this all downhill.
For the NFC Championship game.
Nothing about this is right.
And Carolina is gonna pull it off and win. We're gonna have Carolina, Houston, this year's Super Bowl. Calling it now.
That is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm gonna win so much money today.
Jesus. So what I am going to do, I am picking the Chiefs and the Colts for the AFC Championship game. And I'm going to pick the Chiefs to obviously make it to the Super Bowl. And my NFC side, Yeah, that's the thing. I want to make sure I'm picking this right, and I'm going to pick the Arizona Cardinals against the Green Bay Packers, and yeah,
Okay.
this it's way too early. That's why I'm already feeling it's way too early prediction. But Arizona, Green Bay wins it. Green Bay versus what you call it, the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna pick the Chiefs to win it all. And just
I
for
just want to.
yeah,
I just went on NFL Power Rankings here. Ranking at number 32.
yep,
At 29 are the Jacksonville Jaguars.
yep,
27 are the Carolina Panthers.
yeah.
And the Cowboys are listed at
They're like
19.
yeah, they're middle of the pack right now. They have a lot of
okay.
you have a lot of uncertainty with Dak coming off an injury. What was it? Dak.
I'm really happy about how wrong.
Yeah. I was gonna tell you, but I was like Houston starting Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, Tyrod Taylor from Buffalo and the Chargers. Fresh off of getting punctured lung due to NFL medical, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, he's QB1 because Deshaun Watson might or might not be getting traded, or might not be suspended. Who knows? Carolina is starting Sam Darnold, who just failed in New York with the Jets. And who's the other team? Jacksonville, obviously. Trevor Lawrence, rookie quarterback. They just cut Tim Tebow because they believe that Tim Tebow was not good enough for their team, which is also very telling because, I mean, you gave Tim Tebow an opportunity, which he had no business having anyway. So, huh?
Can't believe he's still in the league.
Oh, he
was playoff game with the Broncos. So long.
That's right. You haven't been watching in a while. He has not been in the league in 7 years.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought he left and then came back. I know
he retired
for a hot minute, right?
Yeah, he retired right around that time. He became a baseball player. He played for the Mets in their farm league. He did not make it to their opening day roster every time. He kept getting back down demoted because he wasn't there enough either. So he became more of an analyst. He started doing a lot of college football analyst jobs. Now I believe he is with ESPN, and he will be doing Friday night or Friday morning sports talk with Stephen A. Smith about football, because that's exactly what everyone wants to hear, is two people that no one wants to hear.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Stephen A. and Tim Tebow together?
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to be Max Kellerman's replacement.
Oh, no. Here's what they've done with Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman has now been moved to the 2:00 afternoon slot, effectively canceling Highly Questionable, if anyone knew about that. Now, Stephen A. Smith is now having Michael Irving coming in on Mondays to debate with him. And then Tuesday through Thursday, he will have a rotating panel of people debating against him. And then on Friday, he brings in good old Timmy Tebow for a throwdown of epic-like proportions. Now,
so on Fridays, we're going to have... Wait, so if it's First Take that he's going to be on?
Yeah.
Tim Tebow?
Yep.
So we'll have Tim Tebow, Stephen A. Smith, Molly.
Yep.
Ooh.
Poor Molly.
Rest in peace.
Now, the ultimate goal that Stephen A. Smith has been working on is trying to create a TV show with a power trio of him, Wilbon, and Magic Johnson. Now, I'm assuming...
He had you with Wilbon.
Yeah. Now, I'm saying if he ends up getting Wilbon, then I'm obviously certain that he's not going to do Pardon the Interruption anymore, which would effectively end another show thanks to Stephen A. Smith. Hopefully that does not happen.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So rest in peace, highly questionable. You had a run of 10 years. I mean, they never really gave you the care and respect after they let Dan Le Batard walk.
ESPN does that. They're kind of like the Sixers.
They love to find ways to let go of their younger talent every time. Every time the younger talent starts to get a little bit of momentum, they end up keeping the older talent, paying him a lot of money, and then cutting the rest of them for reasons. Now you have a show that used to feature Katie Nolan, Mina Kimes, Pablo Torre, Bomani Jones, and a bunch of other people that's now completely gone to benefit Max Kellerman, because Max Kellerman can no longer work First Take because Stephen A. Smith does not want him on the show. And now we have another talk show that we did not ask for and that we did not need. And I think all these talk shows, especially on ESPN and Fox Sports 1, are wild trash. I don't even consider CBS Sports talk shows relevant because they're not relevant. And it's been a two-person race this entire time. And the two-person race is two dump trucks or two trash trucks with trash truck juice leaking out of both of them, with the worst smelling of all the trash truck juice that they've ever had in their ever lives.
There seems to be some diversity to that young talent, rich talent coming into ESPN. You can see that with the whole Rachel Nichols situation.
Yeah.
She really got the job because she was black. It wasn't even just that though. Right? It's like, big space. Like, we already know you are the successful journalist and had this career for 20 years. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like, leave room for somebody else now. Like, make way for the new generation.
But I
Really,
think
they don't want to let go.
I think what she was really super upset about was that ESPN been had this problem for years.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's cultivating that kind of culture.
When if you're gonna guarantee her a spot and a job or whatever, and then all of a sudden at the last minute say, we're not gonna do it anymore. We gotta make this change or whatever because people are backlashing. You have to compensate her for losing that gig. You have to find ways to make that change. And when you don't do that, obviously someone's gonna be upset that they just lost a job. So it's a really awkward situation to be in. And I feel like their race problem is a very, very well known, and it still is a highlight. It still shines because when you had the 6 o'clock Sports Center with Jamel Hill and Michael Smith, and that got completely, panned out and completely buried for a while, then you sit there and go, all right, well, we're gonna throw some more diversity on the afternoon mix, and you give Bomani Jones and Pablo Torre a TV show called High Noon, and they're having a good run, and then you take that show away from them as well, so they all end up migrating back to Highly Questionable, which was Dan Le Batard's show, and Dan had to fight almost every day for that show for 10 years just to try to keep that show, and then you basically take it away from him less than a year after he leaves. Like, in fact, he left at the top of the year. I remember because it was like January 4th. He came in, he did the goodbye and all that stuff, and then he showed up for the next one just to be like, hey, and he's like, nah, I'm just kidding. And then he was like, I'm actually going, you guys got it. It's all good. And that was it. So you let them live for maybe 8 months just to destroy it. And by the way, if anybody's watching this, tomorrow's episode of Highly Questionable is the final episode. So you might want to go check that out. I know they're going to probably do a big retrospective and everybody else is going to give their speeches. I know they're trying to keep a digital show called Debatable, which is in the same spirit, which is what ESPN Executive called it. But it's not the same show. So yeah, it's one of those situations where it's been well documented that this company is terrible with showcasing multiple people at a time, and then never take any real like accountability for it. And it bothers me, and it's always been a bother to me. And then it's one of those things where when they take something away from someone, they don't have a backup plan for them. These guys are still under contract when you take their show away. So what are they going to do? I'm sorry. If you're going to sit there and take Michelle Beadle off of the morning show because she doesn't want to talk about football, what are you going to do with her? Do not pay her to just stay home. I mean, granted, yeah, you know what? Pay her to stay home because, I mean, she's still getting paid. But why not find her something else to do? Work with her. Work with these people. Yeah. Like, and then stop trying to make it seem like everybody has to fight for their spot with other people, especially other people of color having to fight each other for spots. Like, it's ridiculous. Or having women fight each other for spots. Like, yeah. Ugh. But yeah, my Super Bowl prediction is the Chiefs to win it all.
We got back there.
We double back. Yeah. 7:00. If you are watching the football game, the NFL kickoff show is now live over on what is that, CBS? I think it's on CBS or NBC today. It's NBC, guys. So if you are watching football tonight, NBC is the game. The kickoff thing, I believe they're gonna have the musical performances and all that stuff. They always end up doing like completely extra stuff that no one wants to see or hear. So you can always check that out. What else are we missing? I think that's everything. Whew. That escalated quickly. We got a strong hour out of this one.
We sure did.
I love how I was like, we talked in like earlier, and I was like, yeah, half an hour we can fit all this stuff in, and like we'll figure it out. And
I mean, I jumped on the stream a little bit after 5:30, so it's been like an hour and a half.
I know. I did like one Fall Guys game, and that was it. I was like, all right, let's go, guys. We're live. All right. Whew. Oh, and thank you, KyleLiterally, for coming through. What do you have going on now, my friend?
That's a great question. You can check out season 2 of SideQuest that just premiered last week with an interview with Mega Ran. So check that out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and now SoundCloud. That's right, people. We are on SoundCloud now. And so is your boy, Dr. Chill Good. You can check out all my mixtapes and stuff like that on SoundCloud at SoundCloud.com. That's Chill Good 2.5. You can check out SideQuest Enthusiasts at SideQuestEnthusiasts.com or SQEcast.com. Also on Twitter and Instagram at SQEcast. Follow me at KyleLiterally on Twitter and Instagram. I'm terrible social media, but I'm trying to do better. This season, you know, especially for season 2, we've got some interesting shows coming up soon. And yeah, posting them every other Friday-ish, you know. Yeah. SideQuest Enthusiasts, by the way, is a game podcast for talking about the quests we play and who we are. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. Good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for KyleLiterally.
Hey.
Thank my
Thanks
bro. I want to thank my bro Migo for coming through. You can check us out every Thursday here, talking sports and having no clue what we're talking about, but we're still gonna do it anyway.
Yep.
We're gonna take a small break, Reno, and then be right back because it is 7:00. We usually take a break at 7:00 anyway, so we're gonna take a break here, and we'll be back in a little bit. The market by please.
Spirit.
Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight.
Get away.
Final round. Fight. Finish him. Fatality. Baraka wins. Round one. Fight.
You're not a good defense.
Round two. Fight. Final round. Fight.
It's the Marcus Alford stream, sponsored by the Ski Council of Nebraska. Tired of long lift lines? It's time to ski Nebraska. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and better than ever. Shout out to KyleLiterally again for coming through, man. Our sports talks always end up getting intense and way too long, but I always enjoy them every time. Big shout out to my brother coming through. You can definitely catch us every Thursday talking sports with no care in the world. All right, so like I said, like I said, Cowboys game starts at 8, so we won't even do the, we won't switch over to the live react show until 8 o'clock. We'll even pause the game, or pause the stream just so we can have it separated. But no matter what, we're rocking out all night long. I got my little hookah ready, get comfortable, we're going to get right. We're going to play some games and, do the damn thing. All right, so I got to get my week 1 predictions before this, before this show gets on the road. We're going to get a match in real quick. So obviously tonight, I'm already picking the Cowboys to get the win. Then we're going to go over to Sunday. We're going to talk about more Dynamite before I get out of here, before I switch over to the game talks. Eagles are taking on the Falcons. I am going to pick... I'm going to pick the Eagles to beat the Falcons. I don't have a lot of faith in the Falcons right now. They're a team that's, on a different wavelength. I don't know what's the... I don't know what the plan is going forward yet, but I know at least the Eagles are still kind of, doing their thing. We got the Steelers versus the Bills. You know what? I'm going to go with the Bills. I get that the Steelers are still trying to win, but I feel like they're on borrowed time, and I feel like the Bills are the hotter team. They made the playoffs. They're working their butts off. They're doing their thing. Vikings taking on the Bengals. Vikings. Not even a thought in my mind, even though they're both trash. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Give me the Bengals. That's gonna be my one. I'm gonna be probably regretting tomorrow, but I'm gonna take the Bengals. Give me Joe Burrow smoking a cigar with not a care in the world, and Kirk Cousins, just being Kirk Cousins and doing things that remind me of Kirk Cameron that no one asked for. No. Oh! I thought I did something special. That would have been super cool, though. Whew. There we go. So I'm definitely going to pick the Bengals. You know what? I got a feeling Ohio's a trash city, trash state, but you know what? I'm picking the Bengals. 49ers versus the Lions, picking the Niners, hands down. Not even thinking about it. Cardinals and the Titans, I'm taking the Cardinals. Seahawks and the Colts, I am taking the Seahawks. Don't take the Colts. I know the Colts, I have the Colts making it to the AFC Championship. I think they're going to get going late, but I don't think they're going to win this one. I think they still got a lot of kinks to work out, being that they are getting their new quarterback for the first time after missing so much time. So, yeah, I feel like they're going to be a little rusty. Chargers against Washington. You know what? I'm going with Washington. Herbert and them are still growing, but I don't think they're ready yet. I think Chase Young is a darn good defensive player. And they still have Fitzpatrick, who's a veteran quarterback. And they were a playoff team last year, so I'm not going to disrespect them or discredit them. So I'm going to pick Washington over the Chargers. We've got Panthers against the Jets. I'm going to take the Panthers. Panthers and the Jets are basically a bum fight, to be honest with you. No one really cares. They're going to watch it because it's just going to be two bad teams going at it. But Panthers are at least, you know, they still got Christian McCaffrey. He's healthy, so that'll be fun, I guess. Yeah. Texans versus the Jaguars. Another bum fight. Can I pick tie in this one? You know what? Screw it. I'm going with the tie. Or, you know what? I'll go with Jacksonville just because I know that's going to fit the narrative of giving Trevor Lawrence the greatest QB in the league award way too early. He beats good old Houston team with no clue who's their team. One banana. Two reds. Alright, we're good. Green, yellow, red. Green, yellow, red. Green, yellow. Green, yellow. Green, yellow. Green, yellow. Green, yellow, red. Yellow, green, 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 red. Red. Yellow, green, red. Yellow, green, red. Yellow, green, red. Yellow, green, red. Hey. All right, Jaguars and Texans. I'm picking tie. Just kidding. Picking Jacksonville to win. Chiefs against the Browns. Chiefs. Patriots against the Dolphins. I'm picking the Patriots. Packers versus the Saints. Picking the Packers. Jameis Winston has to really earn that he is still not the same turnover machine that he is. Aaron Rodgers still Aaron Rodgers. So place close on that one. Broncos versus the Giants. You know what? Saquon Barkley is a little bit limited, but I feel like this will be going to the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to beat the Giants. Giants are still a mess, but they're going to get there eventually. Oof. Sir, no! I don't want your problems! No! No! Alright. Bears and the Rams. I'm picking the Rams. I don't have any faith in the Bears. None at all. Let's see. Who else? And then on Monday night, you got the Ravens versus the Raiders. The Ravens have now lost not one, but two running backs for the torn ACL. They believe Marcus Peters is now out with the torn ACL. So it's a little bit rough. They just signed Le'Veon Bell, and they just picked up Devonta Freeman to be the new running backs because they have none of their original running backs. So I believe they're gonna have almost no running game right now except for Lamar Jackson that's ready with the actual system. So I'm gonna pick the Raiders. It's a surprise, this one. I think we just got eliminated, so I'm gonna let this dog out real quick. Can we go outside? All right, cool. Give me 1 second. We're gonna finish up our Dynamite talk too, because I didn't get a chance to finish that one, but we knocked out all our picks for the game, and I'm ready to watch some football at 8 o'clock. I know that's the fact. Give me 1 second. Come on, baby. Yes. Go. Fun fact, Tom Brady is 5-0 against the Cowboys. So you're telling me the Cowboys have a chance? Tom Brady is 5-0 versus the Cowboys. One of the 4 teams he's played and never lost. He's 8-0 against the Falcons. He's 6-0 against the Minnesota Vikings. He's 4-0 against Tampa Bay. No quarterback has more wins versus Dallas without a loss. Dak Prescott, obviously I know how great he is, but as I've said, I'm confident in myself and everyone around me. Let's go. No! Wow. Come on! Wow. At least one of us scored. I'm coming, bruh. There we go. Like I said, at 8 o'clock, we're gonna switch you, dude. We're gonna finish up our Dynamite talk before 8 o'clock hits, though. No! Hey. Hey. Yeah, let's go. What up, what up? Let's go. Oh, I couldn't see. It's too crowded. Ooh, hot dog. Oh, come on. Let's go. Also, congrats to Kenny Omega, ranked number 1 in the PWI 500 top wrestler of the world. Roman Reigns is number 2, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, and I believe it was Kota Ibushi rounding out the top 5, which is awesome. I know a lot of people were upset that Walter did not make the top 10, and I believe that is also, you know, super true. He should have been up there, but he wasn't. Rich Swann, representing Impact, made the top 10, so that was pretty cool. A lot of Impact disrespect, and I'm glad that he was able to get a little shine for representing the company during the pandemic. We used to lose a guy, yeah, we did. Oh. Trying to push people off and it wasn't working. I failed. No. Alright, so let's get the last bit of Dynamite before we wrap up for the game starts. Because we're doing the game. So right around when they crown the champion here, we should be enough time to switch over for the game. We're not going away for too long. We're just going to stop the stream so we can stop the recording and then restart the thing just for the game cast. So we're still here. Dan Lambert. We talked about Dan Lambert, Scorpius Guy, and Ethan Page basically sitting up in the bleachers, and Dan Lambert giving the same old tired speech. I'm not gonna lie. After the first couple times, it got boring, and it's boring now. And Ethan Page and Scorpius Guy are two young guys, two very athletic, two very good, really good wrestlers that are not being used, and it's ugly to watch. So I don't know. It's just sad to see. Hopefully they figure it out, but right now I don't think they will, to be honest with you. I have very little faith in them right now. Ruby Soho and Jamie Hayter was a okay match. It was a little sloppy at times, and a lot of people are starting to blame Jamie Hayter for the sloppiness because their other match with Red Velvet was sloppy as well. So I don't know, man. It's one of those things where you kind of wish you had better producers, and I feel like the producers backstage aren't, you know, telling them what they need to hear. Because you got someone like Red Velvet doing a standing moonsault multiple times, knowing that she's not going to hit that move, and you don't even tell her, all right, stop doing that move. Because anybody with the right mind would tell her, don't do that move. Because she misses it. She had pretty much knocked herself out last time she did it. It was ugly. So, and then there was this move during the Ruby Soho and Jamie match where she's on Ruby's on Jamie's neck, like basically like a game of chicken or whatever, and they just kind of fall over. And it looks like, you know, Ruby was like out cold for a minute, but I don't know. We talked about Bryan Danielson and sitting there putting in a yes lock on Kenny Omega while his friends are standing ringside. So, I mean, you're definitely going to get stomped out. I think that's just not a creative, I just think that's not a smart move. Not by wrestling things, but just by as a, you know, in a person and getting ready to fight. You don't try to get someone to the ground in a submission move, but that's just me. John Moxley and Minoru Suzuki was the main event of tonight, or last night. Dynamite. AEW was in Cincinnati, which is Mox's hometown, so this was definitely the big night for him. They played Wild Thing. My issue with Wild Thing is that they don't know how to produce the Wild Thing right. Because they're trying to make a play off of Major League, and then the person that's producing it seems like they've never seen Major League at all, and they don't know what they're doing, so it doesn't come off right. and it bothers me because it's a pet peeve of mine. Because I just want that production to be on point, and it's never on point. But the match overall, I mean, I know Minoru Suzuki recently stated that he was kind of upset that his entrance got kind of cut. And there's a part in the entrance where the fans actually sing a part of his song. And they've done that on the pay-per-view. They didn't do it on the TV, and this would have been a great translate for TV because it's a great spot for his entrance. Because he's a hardcore, like, I'm going to beat everybody down. And then you have this moment where people are singing along with his song, and he's enjoying it. It's a great moment for a person that's like 53 and it has about 3 decades of wrestling experience in him. So it was a kind of a miss for them. So we'll see how this goes. But the match overall was not bad at all. Moxley ended up biting Minoru in the head, and Minoru busted right over his eye and ended up getting 7 stitches over his eye. It was an ugly bleed. But I mean, it's one of those things where AEW loves a good old blood feud. At least they wasn't blading. We saw a promo from Santana Ortiz saying they're looking for new challengers after finishing FDR. Thank you. For the love of God, I hope Santana Ortiz get back to wrestling. I hope that Santana Ortiz versus Pentagon and Phoenix is a thing, because that is a damn good match, because 2 tag teams, and I've seen it before at Impact, and I guarantee you they will do the damn thing again if they're given the opportunity at AEW. Let's see, what else were we missing? I think that was it. I just wanted to go through that again, just on the fact that I was a little, like, you know, off. But apparently AEW did great numbers with that episode last night, so we're still doing the NFL kickoff show. We're doing the national anthem right now. Sweet. Game starts around 8:20. So we got time. Marcus Peters has a torn ACL. Baltimore has a really ugly situation with injuries right now. All right, so like I said, right now we're gonna just end the stream, but we're not going anywhere. Do not go anywhere. It's actually gonna load right back up. We're gonna put the going away, and then we're gonna close it out and everything like that. Make sure you stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Spread love when you can. I'll be back in a little bit. I'm not going anywhere. Do not leave. I'm not going anywhere. So it says stream ending, but don't go anywhere.